Ooh.
for going early. So that's a good thing.
It's a good
Already
thing.
starting off on a positive note.
Positivity.
Yeah. It is powerful. There was a tag team in WWE that once told us that. I didn't really pay attention to them until now.
No. I believe they were Everrise, if I remember right.
That's it. You got it.
I thought so.
Yeah, it is the low blow back after really kind of a brief hiatus. We're normally hosting this like once a month, but we've done it a couple times in the last couple of weeks. Not last week. We were in Raleigh for Galaxy Con, and you probably the busiest man at the show, in my opinion. How was it? Did you get to enjoy any of it?
No.
Okay.
Point blank, did not enjoy much of all of it. But no, I was probably the busiest. I ran around the most. I think there were a lot of people equally busy. I probably have the most miles on my shoes.
So diplomatic. Well, there was other people that worked as much as that's good. That's good. That's leadership right there. Like, no, it wasn't just me. It was the team. No, the thing is, for as busy as you were, for as much mileage as your tennies got last week, the one request you had never happened.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your one request?
I was trying to get my AEW figure signed by Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And just didn't work out. It's fine.
Yeah. People got too busy, unfortunately, at the time that we were going to make that happen, or others were going to make that happen for you. And,
I mean, I also kind of wanted a photo op with Scott Steiner, but I decided not to do that. I just ran out of time. I never had time to swing by.
Yeah.
Swing by and and plus Scott Steiner, I heard, was like in a mood at points. So I was like, nah, I'm good.
I think when Scott Steiner's in a mood, that's just Scott Steiner.
There is. Yes.
We do have fun stories about some of the wrestlers at the show to get to, but since we're talking about Scott Steiner, his panel was great. Now, I did not run it. Ballz did not run it this time. I was in the room, though, watching it, helping with the live stream of it.
Yeah.
And we had a guy, Milo, who was bringing Lex Luger out, brought out Rick Steiner, brought out Scott Steiner. And it was supposed to be a 45-minute panel, but it was not.
No, it was not.
Yeah. Scott Steiner apparently leaned into the moderator and said, how long is this supposed to be? And he goes, about 45 minutes. No, 30 minutes.
The 45 minutes. The hell it is.
So they wrapped it up a little bit after 30 minutes. Although I will give Milo credit for asking the question, which got the whole room and even Rick Steiner and Lex Luger to go, ooh. He asked about the TNA Impact promo, the math promo.
I feel like you have to with Scott Steiner.
And it was the very last question, so it was at the end of the event. Rick's even like, why are you egging him on like that, man?
I thought his answer was so much better than what I thought it could be, though.
And that's the thing. It's like everybody's like, ooh, is Milo gonna die today? I just thought it'd be funny.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't expect people to pay attention to it. I thought it was funny, so I thought others would find it amusing, but I really didn't expect anybody to remember it.
No. And sadly, it's probably his most famous promo. Unfortunately.
It's definitely up there for sure. What's up, Timothy?
You know what? Screw you, Timothy.
Okay, well, how about a thank you for Nathan then?
Okay. Hey, Nathan. I'm also holding off watching Suicide Squad to do this. So
I want to point out for the record, let the jury know that I asked Ballz if he wanted to stream today. He said yes.
Yeah.
So he could have said no. Oh, I'm not feeling well.
I'm not
feeling well. I'm going to watch Suicide Squad till I feel better.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No, absolutely not. We're good to go.
Yeah. Well, the wrestlers at GalaxyCon Raleigh were great.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we were, I guess, taken over by Ron Simmons. Farouk just promoted for the show.
No.
Just showed up.
Yeah. And who's going to say no to Farouk? All right.
If any of you have seen that short video that Rob Van Dam posted, that Lex Luger comes out and then Rob Van Dam starts going, Rob Van, and then Farouk comes up. Damn.
Yeah.
That was at GalaxyCon.
Yeah. No, a couple of my favorite moments, I think, featured Rick Steiner.
Why is that?
Well, it's funny that you sit like that because at one point I walked by and he was sleeping just like that, straight up.
Which is very unfortunate because by the time I got to his table, because you had told me like at the green room,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, oh, I'm on my way. I'm gonna walk by. He had woken up by then, so I was gonna try to get a picture, but it was
Also, like Lex Luger has a small dog that's with him. Yeah, Rick Steiner was barking at it.
Well, he's the dog-faced gremlin.
That's what I thought. I was like, if anyone's going to, it's the dog-faced gremlin. Like, I get it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, all right, this makes sense to my life. Okay.
Now, I am a little disappointed. I did not get to interact with Chris Statlander at all, though.
Yeah, I didn't. I stood next to her at the VIP party. That's pretty much all the interaction I had with her.
Did you try to like?
And she didn't boop me either. Like, if she would have booped me, that would have been awesome. But no, she did not boop me.
That's too bad. That's too bad. The Hurricane was there, not as a promoted guest, literally just walking around.
Yeah, he took his kids around. Yeah.
Which is cool. So I was talking to an artist, and I'm like, yeah, we got everything going on this weekend. And I just turn around, and we got the Hurricane doing some shopping. Which is weird how that worked out.
Yeah,
so it was a good time. I have a special story about Mark Henry that we're going to save, though.
Yes, of course.
For a little bit later on with our 6 things. Taboy. Or is it Taboy?
Taboy.
Anyway, on the 15th, he's going to Six Flags to meet Darby Allin. There'll be 8 matches there, which is kind of cool to be able to go to Six Flags, ride the coaster, say hi to Snoopy, watch pro wrestling.
That's awesome. And Darby Allin's going to be there. I hope he skateboards off a roller coaster. That would be great.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing! Like off the Superman ride.
Yeah, just coffin drop.
That'd be something else.
Yeah,
that'd be something else. But of course, we didn't have a show last week. Even if we did, we wouldn't have been able to cover, to me, what was still probably the biggest story in the wrestling world right now. It happened on Saturday, so it's like old hat for some people. But Bray go away.
Bray went away. He did.
Yeah, and that's like, here I am. I'm doing virtual chats. I'm just scrolling. Like, okay. Something always happens when I'm away from the internet. Something happens in the wrestling world. Something big.
Yeah.
That was what happened this time.
So, I've had multiple conversations with our boss, Mike, the president of GalaxyCon.
Yeah.
About WWE and what's going on. He's a wrestling fan. We talk wrestling quite a bit. And he always goes back to at before Saturday. There were literally 2 bankable stars in WWE that he would use if he was going to start a promotion.
Okay.
Bray Wyatt was one of them. Now WWE has 1 bankable star to start a promotion on.
Is the other one Roman?
It is not, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which actually surprises me because Roman is pretty bankable.
He is. No, he is. He is. I just feel, I don't know. I don't remember his reasoning, but it was the 2 that he thought that he could build something with was Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt. Yeah.
That could be a whole discussion right there on the show.
It absolutely could. And if one day we can get him on here to do that discussion, we can totally do that.
And that's the day I'd probably get fired, but okay.
Probably. But one of us is not going to last the show. It's fine. But back to Bray.
Bray was so good. You're right.
You're right. Yes.
And now Bray Wyatt figure sales plummet.
Right?
Actually, probably not. They're actually probably skyrocketing, people grabbing them before they go away.
Absolutely. Honestly.
Although there are more in production, and once the production starts, you're probably just going to continue on with it. Like we got that Burnt Fiend figure coming out still.
Yep.
So we got some of that. But that's, talk about a surprising situation that still, almost a week later, nobody has outright said what happened.
No. I mean, you feel like a lot of these guys are budget cuts, but I mean, for Bray, you'd have to think that whatever budget cut you were making, you were making money on merchandise and everything else for him. So something, I don't know at what point creative goes, yeah, I don't have anything for him anymore. Like a guy who constantly reinvents himself into something interesting, not just reinvents himself and it's all right. Like,
right.
This guy has like layers upon layers of what he's been able to accomplish, and to just let him go is just it's a bad move.
It's odd. I've read so much. I've read about a mental health thing that he was struggling and he might need a break.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to see the family grow up. Supposedly JoJo's no longer in the company. The ring announcer that he is engaged to, dating, I don't know, but
he has kids with.
Exactly. So if she's gone and, if he's struggling a little bit, then maybe he needs a break. So maybe he will be back. Maybe this is not, we all assume as wrestling fans that if somebody leaves the company or is fired, they're automatically jumping.
Well, yeah.
And most of the time that probably is the case, but every so often, maybe you just need a break.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't want to go anywhere else. Maybe you do. It's hard to say. So I've heard the mental health thing. The budget cuts is one of the big reasons. And I was just reading something, I think it was earlier today, maybe late last night, that Vince was hot and cold with Bray. And so there was times that he would embrace it. Like he loved the Firefly Funhouse stuff. But when the Fiend finally kind of ran its course, Vince soured again. And Vince is like, okay, well, I got nothing.
Yeah. I feel like that could absolutely be correct. I
think it's Bray kept reinventing himself. Bray got himself over, and that also, and I hate to say it, because we have a WWE Hall of Famer on our staff, but WWE seems to, if you can't build if you build yourself at the expense of WWE storylines, that does seem to bite you in the ass.
It does. Oh man, whose comment was it? Was it? I feel like it was Mickey James, but I don't even know if that's right. The one about basically how could you let Bray go? Basically, you gave his gimmick to Alexa Bliss just so you could still make money off of it. Yeah. It was Mickey. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Alexa obviously said, it was the most fun she's had in her career, but so crazy.
Yeah. This one's funny. Bray Wyatt was let go, opening the door for Husky Harris return.
The body of a tank with a Ferrari engine.
If this was NXT and not WWE, I would almost believe some of these cuts were all storyline.
Yeah, right.
Just for them to kind of come back and take over, almost like a new version of the NWO.
Yeah.
Without the name, without the title, but just kind of a 2021 version. But I just don't think Vince is doing that right now. And if it is budget cuts, it's odd because WWE is also recording record profits.
Well, that's the type of thing you want, though, if you're going to sell.
And that's where this conversation was going. It's how could you not expect a sale to happen? Again, I don't even expect this year. I expect probably next spring, right after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's when it's announced.
Yep. I would not be shocked. I would expect more cuts. At least one more wave, probably two, featuring some people we're going to be surprised about.
Yeah.
And then, you get the leanest staffing you possibly can, so that not only do you have the least expenditures with the highest revenue you can possibly get, and then you piece out and sell the thing. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
And then it's up to Universal Peacock Network or whoever buys it to decide what to do with the staff or bring people back or do whatever.
And the reason why you do it right now, for anybody that might be wondering, is you probably show the new buyers, the interested parties, a track record of, look, profits are maintaining, profits are going up. You're showing this record. And then once they buy, hopefully they're in a spending, feel. They're in a spending mentality. And we can bring some of these stars back because no matter how many WWE lets go, AEW can't pick them all up.
That's accurate. Yeah.
As much as we want them to, it's great. Okay, Braun Strowman can interact with the Dark Order. Oh, cool. We now have Malachi Black, who can eventually interact with the Dark Order. Oh, Bray Wyatt now can... That's a lot. That's asking for a lot. And then you start looking at released females. Do you bring the former Renee Young in?
Now, that's what I actually had that in my notes, that she's still under a non-compete. I was shocked by that.
I would actually see her going somewhere else. I don't see her going to AEW if she returns to announcing sooner than later.
Yeah,
because they do have a little Moxley in the family now.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see her doing Ring of Honor or somewhere with a stronger women's division.
That's true.
and helping announce that, maybe with the new the Ring of Honor tournament that's going on. Maybe Renee finds herself involved in that. I mean, Dixie Carter was a part of that, sort of.
I saw that. Yeah.
She did a video. So again, Forbidden Door slammed wide open. Things so crazy. John says here, oh yeah, let's get rid of a heavily over Bray so we can afford Goldberg in the budget.
Well, here's the thing. Goldberg was already in the budget.
So are you like me and hoping that after this, he's no longer in the budget?
Yep.
If anything, get rid of Goldberg and sign Gage. And so Goldberg just comes for free.
Well, he has to, because like child labor laws, Gage still isn't old enough to do anything.
I don't know how old Gage is.
Except be tag champion, I believe. I believe you only have to be 10 to be a tag champ.
Give Gage a year or two, Goldberg will be back for free. So just WWE make that happen. But odd choice. But like you said, we're not done with this yet.
No, I don't think so. I think putting you on the spot, if you had to pick someone more surprising, so don't pick Baron Corbin. Who do you think would be who is the next surprising person let go? And I guess surprising is subjective based on who you like, but
are we talking main event or anybody?
Upper card. Main event.
The first name that pops out to me isn't a male wrestler. It's actually Natalia.
Okay.
Natty.
Yeah.
A team player through and through, long history with the family and everything, but probably makes some money comparatively to others like an Aaliyah or a Rhea Ripley even. So I could see that, and I hate saying that because she's one of the biggest sweethearts in the entire industry, but when they're cutting budget, it doesn't matter how nice or how horrible you are.
No, you're absolutely correct. And that would shock me. That would be one of those ones that you expect to be a lifer and then isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking around my room, seeing if there's anybody else that makes sense. What about you? Do you have an answer to your own question there?
I do think someone like a Kevin Owens, a Sami Zayn, either one of them, definitely I think would be shocking for what they're doing, but you look at them and go, yeah, they probably make some money.
Yeah.
And Sammy is probably more of an acquired taste over Kevin. So,
yeah, I mean, I love both of their work.
Yeah,
but I believe a company would probably, at least WWE, would probably pick Kevin over Sammy.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's scary if you're a WWE superstar right now.
Also, I think someone like Finn Balor, like, I don't want to say he's injury prone, but it feels like he does get injured quite a bit. And he had a good run in NXT, but he also broke his jaw during that run.
Yeah.
So you bring him back up, and if something happens soon with this thing with Roman, he may be on the chopping block too.
A lot of people saying Charlotte in the comments. Which isn't bad, but on the topic of NXT champions and main roster, Karrion Kross is not doing himself any favors on Raw right now.
No,
coming out to crickets this week. It's
I'm telling you, it's because his girl's not with him.
It would help.
It would help.
We know Wrestling 101. Put a female with a male star, you'll get a reaction. You get
something.
Yeah. But speaking of Charlotte and the Flair dynasty. Limousine riding out of town.
I love that he asked for his release, which is much easier than just being released.
Yeah.
And I love that he did it so that he could have his own ventures like wine or a comic book.
But that's the thing is we know about the third-party edicts that WWE has bestowed upon their talents and the issues it's caused with many of these talents.
Yeah.
Look how long Zelina was gone and out for, and then came back after they were able to make amends. Ric Flair's he's always enjoyed putting his name on products. He came from that era where they did that, Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
So it makes sense. I mean, I love watching those car insurance commercials with him and our $1 Million champion.
Woo.
Yeah.
Oh man. So many things, but please AEW, don't pick up Ric Flair. You have 75 other Hall of Famers managing people, you don't need Ric Flair.
Yeah. You don't need to build a stable with Andrade, Rick, and Charlotte.
Nope. There's no Hispanic 4 horsemen that you need to bring in Ric Flair for.
Thank you. Car Shield. Thank you. Get your overpriced out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would a Ric Flair wine taste like? That's what I kind of want to know.
Yeah, I don't even drink.
I know.
But
right?
that has me intrigued because Ric Flair knows drinking.
That's true.
So if he really does put his stamp of approval on this flavor and this brand of wine, it's probably going to F you up.
That's totally true.
Alcohol by volume, 22% or something. I don't know, but yeah, that is curious. But like more people leaving to go. I mean, we'll just continue on with that theme right now.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne could be done.
He
with
could
WWE.
be.
His contract set to supposedly expire at the end of the month, with nobody knowing what the plans are.
Is the other guy in the same situation up next, or do we talk to him?
No, I was going to go ahead and just lump him in.
Okay.
Because eventually we have to leave the whole, leaving the company topic.
Yeah. No, it's just an entire hour of people leaving like a freaking Titanic.
Oh, okay. So this is a shot right here. Ooh.
Oh
man.
And
then of course, woo.
I was trying to come up with a flavor that had to do with woo, and I couldn't come up with anything. Rip Flair had to be drunk getting Lacey Evans pregnant.
I don't know about that. I mean, no. No, but anyway, yes, Adam Cole also with an expiring contract here soon.
Both of them seem to be expiring shortly after SummerSlam. It's a very odd situation, I think, the way the NXT contracts are done. You would think that, and maybe they have been, but you would think they've been trying to negotiate and get these guys to continue by either calling them up or just renegotiating an NXT deal.
Especially with the amount of praise that fellow superstars bestow upon Adam Cole specifically.
Yes.
A lot of people talking about Adam Cole is the next big star, that you let him off that chain. He is the next big star. A lot of legends saying that as well. So obviously a lot of people see a lot in Adam Cole, but he doesn't really seem to want to move up to the main roster.
Yeah.
And could he possibly price himself out of NXT?
I mean, you could, depending on what you're asking. I mean, I would have to think Samoa Joe makes good money in NXT. Finn Balor probably made good money in NXT.
Yeah.
Now Finn Balor's not there. Maybe there's a little bit of salary cap room. You have
the cheese left over.
Yeah, you got a little bit there. So Adam Cole can get a raise. And Pete Dunne probably wants the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, Cole could jump because he could be with his girlfriend over in AEW.
In an interview with her, she's like, he's not going to jump to be with me. I just want him to be happy. If you know anything about his career, you know there's a whole lot more people over here involved in his wrestling career than me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nate would be bummed if we don't get Adam Cole on SmackDown, or Pat McAfee loses his mind. And you're right. You're
right. Yeah.
About that. Going back to the last topic, feel like Ric Flair wine would taste like man boob sweat.
None of those are good.
How well would they do on the main roster? Who knows? I mean, I think Pete would be okay.
Yes.
Pete would be okay as a mid-carder. And I hate saying that because I think the world of Pete Dunne. But I could see him being that mid-card guy, that straight-laced guy that's buddied up with some comedic talent to be a tag team.
Oh, that would be off. You mean fucking Matt Riddle?
Maybe. Yes.
Let's bring that back.
Just
Stallion
like that.
Pete and Stallion Riddle.
Cole, I think it would depend on the show he's at and who he gets to feud with. If you get Adam Cole and AJ Styles, Cole's going to look like $1 million. But if you get Adam Cole as a face against Roman Reigns, say goodbye to his main event push afterwards.
Yep. No, totally.
Yeah. So kind of on the topic here, off the topic, what do you think Gargano going to the main roster would look like?
I think Gargano and Adam Cole both have similar problems, especially when you got rid of guys like Daniel Bryan. Gargano and Cole are both on the small side.
Yeah.
And if you believe any of what WWE is talking about recently, they want their big dudes back. You know, the issues with McMahon and NXT is like, where are my big dudes? Where are my, 6'8", 320-pound?
Where are my
muscular...
Mason T-bars?
Yes, where Mason T-bars at? Because that went over well. Yeah. Oh God, no! Please don't even bring that up. Why? No, I don't know. I figure Gargano would have to come up with his wife. I feel like I don't know if you bring the entire way up with him, but I feel like he'd have to be in a group.
I think he could do okay solo if they go the Daniel Bryan underdog route.
Yeah.
The Rey Mysterio underdog route, the timeless story we've heard over and over again, the Shorty G route. Let Gargano go as Gargano, please, God, and let him feud with Johnny Drip Drip.
Yeah,
with Johnny Wrestling and Johnny Mundo. Like, just let the two Johnnies go and make up new names every week.
That'd be funny.
Just let them do it. Just let them have fun.
Maybe
but
you're
Candice
right.
is there by Gargano's side because the Miz will be there by
And you're right. Like eventually we would get that underdog Daniel Bryan story out of it, and everyone's a sucker for a good underdog story. So that would be the best way for Gargano to come up.
And you do that with bigger guys picking on him. That they just don't give him a fair shot, and so he starts shocking the world when he wins.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I would do, but how long or how seriously do they take that push is a whole nother story. Frankie wants to know what's going on with Randy Orton. Where has he been? He might be cut next.
I doubt Randy Orton gets cut. I think
you want to save money, he's a good bet.
Oh, for sure. No, but I mean, I believe from what I understand, he's just off. Like, I don't think he's injured or anything. I think he's just off enjoying family time. Like, there's nothing...
used to school, summer vacation.
Yeah, there was
report back to action later this month. He'll have
once his kids
new
are
clothes,
back.
his fresh haircut.
I mean, it's probably basically that. Like, he wanted the summer off with his kids, and here you go. There's just no good storylines for him right now, so they're giving him a rest.
Maybe because they realized everybody he feuds with ends up getting fired, so they're like, you know what? Let's not have him feud with anybody right now.
No one wants to feud with him. That's also.
People are like, not it. Nope, not me. Nope. All right, so a lot of people leaving that company right now. Let's let's jump back to Raleigh real quick. So you and I were tasked with trying to find a room for Mark Henry.
We get a phone call at, it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, some stupid time at night.
And this was like Thursday, wasn't it?
Thursday night.
Yeah.
First night of Raleigh. Get a phone call. Hey, I need you to meet Mark Henry downstairs. He needs to use the internet. All right. Yeah, let's go. Run downstairs. Thank you, Nathan. We tell him what room to meet us at. We run downstairs. We're like, all right, we'll figure out Mark Henry's internet. Come to find out, he needs a good, solid internet connection so that he can host his Busted Open radio show. We're like, all right. So we walk him into the room, figure it out, hook it up. It's just a couple minutes. All he has to do is check signal strength, and he's good. We're like, great. Okay.
It took us longer to walk to the room than it did to get him hooked up.
Absolutely.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're like, all right, great. Come to find out, then he then needs that room from 8 a.m. from like 9 a.m. to noon the next morning, which of course
he tells us 9 to noon.
Yeah.
Which then the next morning you're already running around the convention center doing your thing. So I'm like, I'll take care of Mark Henry. I got to show up around that time anyway. And I get there and he's already on the air at 8 a.m. But he's not in the room hooked up. He's on his phone. So again, I don't know. Like, was he confused the night before when he said 9 to noon, or did he just change his mind? He's like, I want to be on the show right now.
Yeah, right. Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows? And then we're like, all right. And it seemed to work out. We were lucky. We didn't have anything scheduled that morning. He was able to use the room until noon.
I asked him if he needed anything. He's
Yeah.
like, I'll take some water and the largest cup of coffee you can find. Which, of course, yeah, exactly. These teeny tiny cups of coffee, and I don't have time to run out and get anything. So I'm like, here you go, buddy. This is all I can do for you.
And then we come to find out he then needed the room the next morning and didn't tell anyone. And we did have things scheduled in the room on that Saturday morning.
Friday, we lucked out.
Friday, we were lucky. Saturday, we went in to set up, and we're like, the blue hell is Mark Henry doing in here?
Yeah, so Friday morning, we were doing live chats from 2 different rooms, so you could actually interact with some of the different stars that we had at the show. These little couple-minute chats. And we just so happened to have that one room open until about noon that day. So it works out. We get him wrapped up. We get the next person hooked up. Boom, we're good.
Yeah.
We were only asked for the one day.
Yes.
But then literally we walk in, doors closed. So he let himself in this time, or I don't know. Sure enough, he's in there already hosting a show. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh crap, I have about an hour to kick Mark Henry out.
Yep, before the Little Mermaid shows up.
Little old me, and I'm not actually little, by the way. But compared to Mark Henry, I felt really small and in shape. So thank you, Mark. And trying to find, he was not happy when I had to tell him, I go, so we didn't know you needed this room again today. Well, I told my person, but your person did not tell me.
His person. I don't even know who his person is.
I don't know. I think there was a miscommunication there or something, but luckily a different room opened up so he could do like the last hour there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that far. Even he was surprised with how quickly he was able to get up there and get set up again. But he was pissed. He's telling everybody off the air, it busted open about, oh yeah, they're going to have to make me move because, these guys don't know how to organize. And I'm like, bitch, please. No. You were the cog in the machine.
Yeah.
The machine had a good schedule going.
You decided to randomly host a radio show twice.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the Hall of Pain was very possible.
It was very possible.
I think the only thing that saved me is because the day before I'd got him a second cup of coffee. Again, teeny tiny cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but he was laughing at something that was said on or off the air. I don't know. And he started laughing so much, he was trying to drink at the same time. He started choking on his coffee. So literally, I'm just sitting in the room doing my work, watching Mark Henry literally get up out of the seat, throws his headset down, and tries to start heaving the coffee into the cup. Don't want to make a mess when you're dying. So he is just heaving, and there's this 400-pound behemoth staggering in the room, and I'm like, I don't want you to die. If you do die, please don't fall on me. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I can't do Heimlich on this guy. I can't, I can't even get my arms around him.
Nope. I just want to point out that at no point did you message me for EMT services. There was nothing.
I didn't know what to do. I'm like, he's still going. He's still swaying. He's doing something. And then finally he catches up. He kneels to the ground. Finally gets it out of his system. He's breathing okay. I'm like, is there anything I can do for you? I'm thinking, do I need to jump up and down on your back to help you get the rest of it out? He's like, well, you almost watched me die. I'm like, I would have called somebody. I've never been faced with a pro wrestler dying in front of me, so
no.
Maybe I did freeze. I don't know. So I think that's why he didn't kill me the next day.
That's good.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's our Mark Henry story, which if you go to our Instagram at Wrestling Audio, you can see when he was doing the show the first day on his phone, he was sitting at a Raleigh Convention Center kiosk, making it seem like he's the guy you go to for directions.
Which I want to point this out. You don't ask Mark Henry anything.
I walked right up to him and he's like, oh, hello, sir. Where can I direct you? So at least he knew what it looked like as well. Yeah, that's good stuff there.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, not so good stuff here. SummerSlam with the Rona.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've seen the rumors or not. I think the word canceled is a bit strong or misguided, but a lot of people are thinking that SummerSlam will be canceled this year.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if canceled, they'll still have it.
They will still have it.
Will it be relocated? Now, that is the better question.
Do you remember where it's supposed to be? I do not.
Allegiant Stadium in the new home of the Raiders in Las Vegas.
Ah, okay.
We've
Open
had
air or
on that other show I do.
I don't know. I really don't. Like, I don't know what Vegas's numbers are. I mean,
everywhere's in the red pretty much.
Yeah.
There's just more places. There's certain places that are more in the red than others. And I mean, Vegas was desperate to open back up months ago. So they did so, as quickly as they could. And so they started spiking, much like a lot of other spots that WWE's been traveling to.
Like, I wonder,
don't know what they're going to do. Like,
no, because I bet we've
gotten this question a few times from this gentleman. Will SmackDown be at MSG in September or no? People have tickets for their events coming up in the next few months.
Definitely.
Will that happen? I don't know. I know people were excited to get rid of the Thunderdome.
Here's the thing. As someone who, we literally just had a large-sized Comic-Con in Raleigh, North Carolina. Like, there are ways to do large events safely, and I felt like we pulled it off. I mean, there is probably a difference between what we did and what you would do at a wrestling event, especially with tickets already being on sale. Can you socially distance where you're sitting? Like, I don't know that you could really do that. I don't know.
Our numbers were big. Our numbers were good for a convention in a not huge city, but that was also over the span of 4 days.
Yeah.
WWE SummerSlam numbers will be triple, quadruple that for one night.
Yeah.
No, I get that. What do you do? Like, do you give refunds?
I would almost say you make masks mandatory, and if you don't want to wear a mask, you can apply for a refund.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the only way you could do it and still do live show. I mean, without taking it back to the freaking performance center and going that.
It's not. It's Saturday night.
SummerSlam, 6 nights.
With NXT, their big event, that Sunday night.
So they flipped it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to try a Saturday pay-per-view again, WWE is. So
is it because is the center in use on Sunday?
I believe they had the choice and they chose to try Saturday. So
interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they probably AEW does all their stuff on Saturday, so they're probably just testing it to see how it works.
I mean, a lot of companies have started to do that or have been doing it for a while, but either way, I don't think SummerSlam's canceled. No matter what anybody is reporting on the internet, they will not cancel it.
No, they won't.
Have to move it, maybe. Do they have to change it? Probably.
Yep.
But they don't want to lose live events again either, so they're going to do everything they can. And I don't know if that means showing proof of vaccination or not. I know that's a hot topic. There are some places that are enforcing it. Others don't want to do so, or they don't, or the states don't allow those forms of entertainment to run in their states because they don't agree with the showing of the vaccine. I mean,
there's a lot that can happen.
We live in some bullshit times. That's for sure. So, and this is a good question here. Could you see SummerSlam on a different date?
I mean,
but I don't think so. I think it's going to remain as is. I think it's going to remain at Allegiant Stadium.
I mean, the problem with moving it to a different date is what if it gets worse?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nowhere to go if
you run into the ticket issue then of people that maybe planned a vacation and then now you're gonna. I mean, it happens. It's happened before and it could happen again, but you try to avoid that when you're bringing in mass numbers like WWE does.
Yep.
I think it's just like you said, they got to do the masks and just try to hope that you don't become a hot spot.
Yep.
So I expect if you have tickets to a live event, because I know Chicago's got big events coming up, and MSG, as you said, a lot of these companies touring again. NBA, basketball, baseball, like fans are back at sports in general.
Yeah.
But I think people are going to have to start getting cautious again.
I agree.
And hopefully if you're watching this, if you're streaming this now live or on demand later, hopefully you're willing to do your part so we don't have to get the Thunderdome again. I mean, the Thunderdome was a great fix for the time.
Oh, no, it was absolutely. But it's just such a funny way. It's like, there's like people will be like, please do this so the kids can go to school. And we're like, please do this so the Thunderdome doesn't come back.
This is why we relate to the audience. So
right? Yeah, no, I get it. We pick what's important to you.
Yeah. And none of us want the Thunderdome back. No. That is the worst case scenario.
That is the worst case scenario.
Yeah. You want less WWE firings? We need to have touring back. So
yep. True.
We need to keep touring around. So I don't think it's going anywhere. And then this was a fun little debate that I got into with a friend recently about AEW. There's no funny thing here. This is just game changers. Like where every other one was clever, this one I was running out of time, so I needed the headline. AEW, people love AEW, right? I mean,
yeah.
But at the same time, their numbers still aren't growing as much as they should. So the debate that I got in with a friend, and I was on the side of AEW, believe it or not, that AEW is not building any new stars. And the more WWE cast-offs or legends they continue to build, the worse it gets.
Huh.
Because if you're a casual fan, you know Sting's there. And you know that Sting's with that weird kid.
It's true.
We know Darby Allin. We think he's great.
Yeah.
But is he a household name in pro wrestling?
How many people become a household name in pro wrestling in the first year?
Yeah, but at the same time, how's that company going to continue making money?
Oh, no, I get it. I understand.
They're spending a lot of it by bringing in, hey, Christian, you're out of retirement. That's great. I mean, it is great. But then Mark Henry comes over, like every legend ever. If you're done with WWE, go to AEW, and you're probably at least paid per appearance. And so now we got Andrade over there, who's probably not cheap.
No,
Malachi Black, maybe Bray Wyatt, maybe CM Punk, maybe Daniel Bryan. There's all great talent. Nobody's going to deny any of that.
Yeah.
Are any of those names going to skyrocket the ratings? And are those names that you are still counting on in 5 years?
Malachi Black, Andrade, yes, in 5 years. Will they skyrocket ratings? I think we've already seen that they probably are not.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. AEW is having higher ratings than they have been for the last couple weeks. Over 1 million viewers for the last couple of weeks, which is a good record. Yeah.
And so there's that argument.
So, I mean, they are on an upswing. Yes. Are they on a rocket ship upswing? No.
Do you think advertisers will be happy with this a year from now if they can't continue, if they just maintain and don't continue to go up? And it is different. WWE can get away with it because they have 40 years of history behind their product. To give an honest answer, I would have to look at what the other shows on TNT and TBS are getting ratings-wise. Because while we may think it's low or maintained, it could be the highest rated show on the network. So at that point, yes, I would say advertisers are happy with it. But if it's not, then maybe, the advertisers have a right to be like, why are we paying for this? And we could look at this at anything. Like for us at Comic Cons, if we keep running the same city every year and we maintain but do not grow, what are we doing wrong?
Exactly.
Right. I mean, nobody should be creating to maintain. People should be creating to grow the product, grow the exposure.
Yep.
And I know this is a pro wrestling audience here. This is an AEW loving audience here. So I'm not I'm devil's advocate for this conversation, for the sake of this conversation, but it did get my wheels turning a little bit that what AEW original is going to, like, who has that potential to be larger than AEW?
Ooh.
Where WWE, obviously you go back to all the favorites, but Roman Reigns now can start to transcend WWE, right or wrong, because we know WWE doesn't like that. But they have somebody there. But does AEW? Jericho's done great, but Jericho, right or wrong, is not in the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. I think he should be, but
I think he should be too. But and you can argue he's not while he is an AEW original, he's not an AEW original. I
think you gotta. We look at ratings like it's the most important thing, and I brought it up a few moments ago. It's not, but you need somebody to create a buzz. Where even regardless of the Attitude Era, Goldberg was the right place, right time in WCW, and things were able to take off. Diamond Dallas Page, even back then, right place, right time, right story. AEW has been AEW. They may not have had these series of shows this whole time, but AEW's been around for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And we still don't have that guy.
So, while I don't think he's that guy, what do you think about as far as creating buzz or a moment? What do you think about the battle raps of Max Caster getting viral national headlines?
No, I think there's creativity there. I mean, and I like that AEW really is something for everyone. Like, people get to show their personality. Nick Gage, yet we went old school with the Juice Juventud this week, and we have viral rap videos. And but the problem is AEW seems to really target wrestling fans.
Yeah,
and it doesn't target an open audience. And how many of us are there left to check it out and watch on a regular basis?
That kind of circles back to what you said, or when you brought up Punk, when you brought up Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many fans are out there that would say that, they're pure wrestling fans or hardcore, whatever you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Fans of Punk, fans of Daniel Bryan that aren't already checking out AEW.
Right.
Like, I'd like to see the diagram that shows, how many of them are like, all these other, independent darlings are there, but no, hold off. I'm going to wait. Like, who do you need to go check it out? That's kind of what I wondered at this point.
There's a lot of people talking about Hangman Page. A lot of comments about Hangman Page being built well. I agree that he's being built well, but I don't think he's your number one guy. I'll outright say it. I don't think he's a number one choice.
No, I think he could be in that scene at some point, but I don't know. I think you're right. He's only as good as his opponent.
I think should he become world champion in the future, I think he's transition. I don't think he's the guy to carry the company.
Yeah.
Now or later. I would love to be wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's the case. John points out, in reality, who do they have that's not previously WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact star already? Thing is, though, people don't say Ring of Honor cast-offs. People don't say Impact cast-offs. If you're a wrestling fan and a guy became a star in WWE, it doesn't matter where their history was.
Yeah.
They're former WWE.
Yep.
And it's good to bring in some of those names to bring eyes on the product, but that's where the young stars have to step up.
Yeah.
And that's where the argument from my friend came in that unless you watch every single week already, you don't know who these stars are.
And that's true. I mean,
I'm hearing a lot about that Darby Allin. I have to watch. I'm hearing a lot about that Brian Cage, which obviously isn't AEW original or built, but it's like you don't hear those. You hear about Jericho, maybe MJF. Maybe.
I was going to say MJF is probably one that I would say at least gets some outside buzz sometimes. But
that's the thing is, though, it's like point earlier, wrestling fans are already watching, bringing the name value to attract casual fans. How many names do you have to bring in?
Right.
I mean, ratings are stable right now. But they're not they're not going up really. I mean, little by little, it's better than nothing.
No,
and they're now adding programs to the network and TBS and whatnot. I also do think that everybody else is saying it's no big deal, but I think a TNT to TBS move is shaky.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
To me, I don't see any difference in the networks, but I could see where you would be.
Yeah. I mean, well, and then at the same time, they coasted on that for about 83 weeks, and then WWF had built Stone Cold and The Rock and those guys from the ground up.
Yeah.
And maybe WWE got lazy over the years too, but you know, that's the thing is, WCW stole the attention briefly. Yeah. For a year and a half. And so but WCW didn't build up at really many other young stars. I mean, built up Goldberg, but anybody really probably could have gotten that role. If you're that size, you probably could have gotten that role there. But
I agree with that.
You know, and so I mean, this was again, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate to what my friend was saying, because I tried defending AEW and I was actually getting shut down a lot. That just it's fun, but what happens when that bubble bursts and AEW has to start letting people go?
Yeah.
Because they probably have a lot on their books right now.
Oh no, I bet they do. I mean, let's be honest. If you're like a pure wrestling fan, a fan of, the Japanese style, and bringing in someone like Omega isn't making you watch. While what he's doing now is nothing like what he was doing there. The name there at least could have made you tune in. I don't know if Daniel Bryan shows up, and this also might be part of the issue of using someone to pop ratings like this. If the casual audience knows him as Daniel Bryan, and AEW can't call him Daniel Bryan, are you really going to get the rub from bringing him in to the non-wrestling fan or the non-hardcore wrestling fan?
I think those of us who watched back in the Attitude Era, back when, we didn't know every move that was happening behind the scenes, you could know. I mean, obviously a Jericho owns his name, so he was able to jump. But when Paul White came over and then eventually became the Big Show, they still made a big deal. So I think, you can, especially in Daniel Bryan's case. Bryan Danielson is a real easy one there. But you bring up a good point. If they're not already well established.
Well, and I guess
Peyton Royce. If Peyton Royce would jump over, she can't be Peyton Royce. A Cassie Lee is not going to have the same effect.
No, exactly. I mean, CM Punk, from everything we understand, he owns his name. So CM Punk is CM Punk is CM Punk. That you can promote the hell out of that anywhere, and someone who remembers the name from WWE is going to go, "Oh, all right, cool," and check it out.
Yeah.
If someone promoting Bryan Danielson without saying formerly known as Daniel Bryan, it's probably not going to get the same buzz.
Right. Yeah. And so this is the other argument here. Too soon to tell. Give them more time, especially the pandemic took so much away. Thing is, the pandemic took things away from everybody. I mean, it's only so much of an excuse. I mean, they're still young. They still got a ways to go, but at the same time, they're spending like they've been around for a while, and that's my issue with them. You're right. Give them time. They will find their niche. They're going to have extra shows on network, cable television to help out.
Yeah.
So you're right. They will have more time to expand, take their time. But by God, Tony Khan has a very open wallet. How long before that happens? And people are like, oh, no, his dad's rich. So is Dixie Carter's parents. And eventually that rug was pulled out from underneath her.
I was not expecting that analogy. But you, sir, are not wrong.
No, I think, in my opinion, what they need to do is more guest appearances and unique things like what Shaquille O'Neal did. Him wrestling that match would bring in people like, wait, Shaq's wrestling?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm going to check this out. And then hope that the rest of the product is like, wow, this is really cool. This is much better than what that other company's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And they stick around. But Shaq wasn't the answer.
No.
Which, I don't know, maybe he's just not, cool enough anymore. But like, I loved what he was willing to do with it. So if they can continue getting some great pop culture crossover, then I think that will help more than actually former WWE wrestlers.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Anything I missed in my 6 things there?
No, I think your 6 things had everything that I had written down as far as notes go. So nailed it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, with that, I guess we wrap it up. I will say it surprised me. So this week on Table Talk, we had the women's champions on. We've had Natalia, talk to her before. She's great.
Yeah.
Tamina is probably the most expressive guest we've ever had.
That's awesome.
Like literally, you can watch the show on mute and just watch her facial expressions. It's so entertaining because she reacts to everything. and like I say, like I've given her a lot of grief in the past on the air here, but WWE has kept her as the strong silent type.
Yeah.
I think if she was actually allowed to show some personality, she would be right next to the Usos and Roman when it comes to that, over the top charisma. Seriously, just watch it on mute. If you hate the sound of my voice, watch it on mute and just look at Tamina's wild facial expressions.
I didn't know what doing a show with you on mute was an option.
I mean, you could probably co-host a show. You just mute me and then you could just pretend what I'm saying.
That would be kind of fun, actually.
That would be a good show there. Joe, thank you so much. And John's been desperate for an answer to this one here. What do you think about Alistair Malachi Black's overall?
Cody's going off to film TV show. I firmly believe this is him being written off to go film season 2 of the Go Big Show. And I think this is definitely hey, Joe, get out of here. No, I think this is definitely like a way to set up Malachi Black. I don't know who he's going after next, but I think Cody started teasing that retirement and then he got, hit in the back of the head. You should just let him retire and then come back.
Another classic storyline right there. You can tell that Dusty inspired right there. The fake retirement angle, about to get kicked and whatnot.
Yep.
I dropped the ball. I should have asked Mark Henry if he needed that room on the second day. He needed to bring the salmon jacket with him.
Yeah, that's if he did photo ops, I would want specifically for him to wear the salmon jacket.
Book him for the next show so we can make that demand.